What up? So I think about this topic so much in my life. Like I'm scrolling videos, listening to other people talk about it, and I think about it all the time. I think about my kids and what their future is going to look like, and just how much life has changed and how much more difficult it is to get forward in life. And it seems to be like this everywhere. Rent prices are up, groceries are crazy. Would I go for a quick trip to the grocery store? Hundreds of dollars, hundreds. You used to be able to go and do quick trips for like $80 and get a few things, and now it's like you're dropping $200-300. Our bill for groceries used to be about $900 for the month. Now it's 1,200 to 1,400, and we're not eating nothing crazy. We keep it fairly simple. No big crazy meals, no big steaks all the time. We eat good, but we're not going crazy. And it just makes me think so much about our future generation with how much the world's changed. Like pri- prices have went up, pay has not went up, and it's been so difficult. And I was really got into this because I see all my friends taking trips and doing all these different things, buying new cars, getting houses, and I'm like, how are people doing this? How are people living so much better quality of life? The answer is probably debt. I don't know for sure. Debt. Some of them are business owners and probably make better money, but still, like for the normal person that is working a regular job, the future looks so grim. And it's depressing sometimes, man. And that's why I work so hard on having different forms of income in my own life. And hopefully something pops off and starts paying me a higher level so I can quit bouncing around to different jobs to make more money to meet with inflation and the rising cost of everything. Because a few years ago, the money that I make right now would have been great. And now it's like, oh, it's still, I'm barely scraping by, right? So today we're going to look at some of these videos of other people that feel the same way. Let's get into it.
Both of my jobs today, right? I used my first job's paycheck to pay my bills and then my second job's paycheck to save. So today I had to pay my bills. Tell me why my first paycheck is already gone. Literally, gone. And of course, my second paycheck, I'm not going to touch it because it's for my savings. I'm literally out here working two jobs, and yet I can't even live.
And this girl looks really young. She's already working two jobs. She's already learning about how the world works. And unfortunately, not everybody has the choice to go out and work two jobs, right? That takes a lot, especially if you have kids and you have other responsibilities. As someone that has worked two jobs before, it makes having a life almost impossible. And then once again, we're right back into the same thing of I'm just working to survive instead of working to live a life. And I feel like this today in my life that I'm just getting by. That's it. And that's why I try different things to increase my income and have different forms of income in my life. But man, it is so difficult. So difficult. Prices are up so much. Let's go to the next one.
United States. And I don't want to seem like a lazy bum when I seen this, but I truly feel like it's just about impossible. If you weren't raised and given a good first hand in life, or a support team who will make sure no matter what that you don't fail, or having people that you're able to fall back on, you're blessed. And if you are one of those people, I highly suggest you thank those people near you, because a lot of us aren't blessed like that. I'm a 23-year-old dad. I've got two kids. I've got about to be a 5-year-old in May, and I've got a newborn too. She's just a few weeks old, like 3 weeks.
I think about that a lot. Like people that just had a better upbringing, a better start in life. That wasn't me, right? I came from an impoverished area. I came from a criminal background, right? We did whatever we had to survive. My dad did his best, but he was a single father for a very long time. He made good money. Things was okay, but it wasn't like that push forward. Like you had these things given to you and you had the head start in life. And it's made things, I'm happy for it, but I'm also like, man, I want to give my kids a better head start than I was given, because I know how much that can help further down the line, and
So my wife gets to stay at home and take care of the babies, and I'm out here trying to get it. I'm on my third shift job now. I'm a security officer for Allied Universal. No, I don't represent the company in any way, shape, form, or fashion. This is just a job. I am not a part of this company. Um, but, you know,
that's another point right there, is that people are just taking jobs. No longer is it like I'm going to stick with this one company and stay with them the rest of our life, like past generations were able to do, because it's no longer like that. I learned very quickly after I got my life back together that I needed to change jobs frequently in order to increase my income. Although every time that my income increased and I kept hitting the goals that I wanted to, I realized that it still wasn't enough to really move forward in life and live a life, not just get by, not just, occasionally you do something fun, but to just survive. The price kept moving. The goalpost kept moving forward. The goalpost kept moving further back the more money I made.
and I work here from 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. every single day, 8 hour shift. I get off of this third shift job and I go directly into another job, which I just go around my city, finding side jobs. It might be a clean out one day and I go out there for another 5, 6, 7 hours. It might be landscaping another day. It might be painting one day. It could be, it varies. I do what I can where I can. But therein, I go home and I have to stay up even longer to make sure that my lady is able to get her rest too. Because, I mean, being a mom's a hard job. Yes, I'm working hard, but being a mom is a hard mental job as well in its own. So I have to.
Working all these different jobs and side hustles just to get by. Not to live a better life, to stack up, to do all these things, but just to live a better life. It's crazy. And thank God he has a significant other to be at home and take care of the house duties, because that makes things a little bit easier. But like he said, that's a job in itself too. So for a lot of people, they have to do that as well as work a job, for a world that's just working against them in every possible way. Every possible way.
Poor. I don't care if you have 5 kids or no kids. I don't care how you vote. I don't care where you live. You should be able to at least admit that the prices right now are insane. You should be able to admit that going to the grocery store right now is depressing. You should be able to admit that a rent is insane. Buying a home right now, prices are insane. You should be able to admit that. It shouldn't matter your current.
A minimum wage job would take care of a full family. You could buy a home and everything with the minimum wage. And now you need to be making $120,000 a year to buy a home, and it's just getting worse and worse. That bubble's probably going to bust soon. Maybe prices come down. I doubt prices come down a whole lot. Interest rates will, which does make a big difference as well. It's just brutal.
Current state in life. It shouldn't matter how you vote. You should be able to just admit, you know what? It sucks that right now to buy a decent 12-pack of toilet paper that doesn't scrape my ass when I wipe cost $16. You should be able to admit that buying a gallon of milk cost almost $4, and then that sucks. That's not ideal. These aren't crazy thoughts that people have. These aren't just thoughts that people have that are in debt up to their eyeballs, that are struggling. These aren't thoughts because then don't have kids. Anyone. It doesn't matter who you are, how many kids you have, or how much money you make, or where you live, or how you vote. You should be able to admit that the prices right now aren't fair and that something should change. And if you can't admit that, then you're the problem. And for anyone that's like, quit bitching, no one cares, you might as well block me, because I'm not going to quit bitching, and clearly some people care because a lot of people follow me. So bye. I don't care.
She's right. Toilet paper's up. Filling your pantry is super expensive. Doesn't matter who you are. I do know after you make a certain amount of money, it is a lot easier, but the reality is that what we see on the internet, what we see online, what we see on social media, that's not the norm for the average American. That is not the norm of how people are living. I myself have massive amounts of debt, right? From trying different businesses, trying different things, just surviving. It's rough.
I'm going to explain to you guys how much more expensive things are today than they were even 3 years ago based off of my current financial situation. So 4 years ago, when I graduated law school, I graduated making $65,000 a year. I was living in a one bedroom by myself, paying $1,400 a month. After the first 3 months, my boyfriend moved in, and so then we were splitting it, so it was $700 a piece. But he lost his job at one point, and so for 3 months before he got a new one, I was covering the rent all by myself. So it was about 6 months of me paying $1,400 a month for that year-long lease. Now I make about $85,000 a year. I have two roommates, and we split the rent 3 ways. And usually my rent is like $950, something around that. So I'm making technically $20,000 more a year. I'm paying roughly the same of what I was paying in rent. And I have never been more stressed out about money in my entire life.
Now, see, some of this comes with lifestyle creep, which I don't know if that's her or not. I'm just saying that in general, you got to watch lifestyle creep as you begin to make more money because that can be downward pressure on you going up as well. But also to have two roommates and still be struggling on $85,000 a year.
How's mom? This is just your friendly reminder that if you step outside and like take a deep breath, it will probably cost you like $200. Like just to step foot outside, it's a solid $200. Hey, Howard, how's mom?
We have a joke in the house that we don't go out a whole lot, and that's because every time we go out, it's $100 just before we leave the house, and that's so true. Just leaving costs so much money, and it's like, how do people get to go out and enjoy themselves without spending so much money? We choose to go to state parks a lot and go hang out there, but around this time of year, we like to go to haunted houses, which are crazy expensive now. That used to be a cheap, fun thing to do. It costs a lot more nowadays, but everything, it doesn't matter. Just going out, you have to find things that are free to go do because doing any kind of activity just costs so much money. But if it's this bad right now, what is this future generation going to be able to do? They're going to have to do something extreme or things are going to have to change because the whole system is going to break soon. That's the reality. It has to. It has to. Something has to give because eventually everybody's going to default on everything. And then what's going to happen? Because the average American is the one carrying the country right now, the average person. And if they can't afford to pay their bills, businesses aren't going to get paid. Banks aren't going to get paid. Everything's going to lose money and the economy will collapse from that. I think about this so much. I'm so focused on increasing my net worth and just making more money and doing different things. YouTube, stock trading, building my own business, getting a job, all these different ways for me to bring in income and still struggle. But I know it takes time. I know it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort to build something great. But with the constant downward pressure of everything working against you, everything costs more and just it's a struggle. And I feel bad for so many people because I know how difficult it is. I've been there. I'm there right now.
One bill or expense from your life that is not rent or your mortgage, what would you choose?
I agree with this guy. I would definitely choose the one he chooses.
I think for me, the answer is very clear. Groceries. I would love to never pay for groceries again. I think I picked that just because that is my highest expense outside of rent. Like my grocery bill can exceed like $800-900 a month. Like I spend a lot of money on food. I eat a lot of food. And to like never pay for food again. I thought for a split second, I thought about my student loans, but I'm like, hopefully I'll eventually pay those off at some point. Whereas I have to eat food for the rest.
Student loans. So I took a Sally Mae loan to go to a coding boot camp because I was trying to get a better job, to increase my income, to make my life better, make things easier. And now I have student loan with them for a school that I went through that did not produce any results for me because I just got into tech at a really bad time. And I was looking at it the other day. I've been paying for a year and I still owe more money than the loan was actually for. The loan was for like $25K. I owe $25,300 for it. And I've been paying for a year on it. And that was very depressing. I just seen that yesterday actually. And that was like, Jeez, I'm paying $350 a month for this loan, and I don't know. It
rest of
sucks.
my life. So I'm choosing the longevity, and like my grocery bill is higher than my student loan payment every month. But I thought about it. That'd be nice to get out of student loan debt, but I think I'm going for the groceries. So yeah, if you could pick one that is not rent or your mortgage, what are you choosing? If you could,
What bill would you choose to get rid of if you could just get rid of it without choosing your rent or your mortgage? Groceries is definitely, probably, no, definitely for sure. That is my second biggest bill. We have a pretty big family, and it costs a lot of money to feed everybody. And when you go out to eat, don't even get me started. McDonald's used to be so cheap, and now it's like 60, $70, maybe a little less, but somewhere around there each time we go to McDonald's. At this point, it's almost the same price as going to Texas Roadhouse. You get a better meal. Man, get me on that topic of fast food. It's just so much. But I know I'm not the only one that feels this way, man. That's just constantly swimming upstream, trying to get ahead in life, and it just feels like everything's always beating you back. And you try to deal with it with a smile and a positive attitude. And I feel like I do really good with that, but it's still just very difficult. And then it makes me worry a lot about my kids. Like, how hard is it going to be for them? My older son that lives with me, he just got his temps, and we were talking about that with when is he going to move out and all these different things. And told him, like, you're welcome here for as long as you need to be here, because I know it's going to be a lot more difficult than it was for my generation. Plus, I moved out when I was like 14 or something. I ran away. I lived a different bad life when I was young. These kids are not going to live that life. I'm going to provide them to the best of my ability. Learned a lot from the things I didn't like about how I was raised to help me be a better father. And no knock at my dad. He did his best and he did great. I love him to death. But I've learned a lot from him too, from his parenting. But what do you guys think, man? What do you think about the future of life? Life in general, the economy. What is this going to look like in the future? Are you worried? Are you okay? Are you struggling? Do you have plenty of money? Are you trying to figure it out? Let me know down in the comments, and hit like and subscribe, because I need to know that I'm not alone. I need to know that I'm not the only one going through these struggles, man. Like, I have a pretty good life, but I still struggle all the time, and I'm still trying to figure out what can I do to give us a better leverage in life. But with that being said, I love y'all. Later.